Said this before, but Larry Hunt is a really good coach and does a good job of preparing his team. I thought they did some really good things in their sets, and we weren't prepared for some of those. Part of that is scouting. Didn't have any tape on them from this year, but I thought they really executed. I think some people hear the name Western Carolina and they think it's automatic, 20-point or 40-point win. I think we came out a little tight in the first half and didn't rely on our defense to get us through that tightness. We turned the ball over way too much in the first half, and we really reduced our turnovers in the second half. But the biggest thing is I thought that we really did a good job of getting to the free throw line and making our free throws. It's a huge disparity there. That's what you want. You always want to end up making more free throws than the other team even attempted. I thought that was a key for us. And then I thought our freshmen came in, especially Maurice Dunlap, and made some big threes, but more importantly, didn't turn the ball over. And Demetrius Houston ended up with 7 rebounds and really did a good job on the defensive end. But that's a good win for us. I think Gavin was a force down there and doing some good things there.
You mentioned Gavin. I know we talked about this after the exhibition, but I mean, is this something you can keep up and continue through the season?
Well, I would hope so. I mean, I think he ended up playing 32 minutes, and in those 32 minutes, I thought he played hard in those 32 minutes, and that's what you want to make sure you see. You don't want to just give a guy 32 minutes. You want to give him 32 minutes if he's playing hard, and I thought he really did a good job of doing that.
There were a couple times in the first half where you had the 4 freshmen out there with Trevante and then Fred. What did you like about that when they had that unit out there?
Well, I didn't think our guys were very effective that started the game, so you got to give those other guys a try to come in and try to be effective. But there was no, I want to platoon or play the freshmen together and things like that. It just happens to be that most of our veteran guys are starting, and then when you start subbing, you end up with all those freshmen in there. And that's something that could change throughout the course of the year. And then the other big thing is we didn't have our 2 best ball handlers in there as far as being able to create offense with Craig Sword and I.J. Reddy, and that showed a little bit as well, too.
I talked to Gavin about it, how different it is for him to sit over there in the first half and not be in foul trouble, but sit over there and watch and just get a breather. I mean, how big is that for him?
Oh, I think it's huge, and more so than anything, Paul, not having all the weight on his shoulders, knowing that he has to get back out there. He really can't take a blow. He's got to get back out there. And then you got a guy like Faluda's coming in, and he's more than capable of playing those 8 to 10 minutes, or if it bumps up to 10 to 15 minutes at that point in time. So I just think having a capable reserve is really important.
Did the trainers clear chicken for this game?
No. He was not clear.
The defense in the second half seemed to be a little better. What was different about the defense?
Well, I think we stopped them in conversion first and foremost. I thought we had some situations there in the first half where we didn't stop them in transition. I thought we made some defensive errors that were really correctable errors in the first half and went to the second half. And you're always concerned about the second half because they're not right there in front of you. The coaches are talking, the bench is talking to them, so it's a lot better. And really in the second half, they're on their own communication-wise, and I thought they did a really good job of communicating. We always talk about ELO, which is early, loud, and often. And so when you're in that second half, you got to have that.
There's a little bit of a milestone tonight with the 400 win at the Hump. How are you on things like that, and what does it mean to you?
Well, I didn't know that, to be honest with you. But anytime you're part of history, that's always a benefit to your career. But I think the Hump has got a great atmosphere. I think that's been proven throughout the years. We got to continue to do our part as a basketball team to increase that atmosphere. And I think if people continue to come out and watch us play and to see the quality of basketball players that we have, the attendance will continue to increase.
0 fast break points. How do you kind of explain that number? It needs to be higher, doesn't it, for a team that kind of struggles offensively? Well,
I think the biggest thing, Michael, on that is when we did get an advantage basketball, we didn't execute. And that's where I thought a lot of our turnovers happened, and that's a frustrating thing. We turned the ball over when we had advantages, and that's what you got to make sure we correct. And I think they sent so many guys back because they know that, hey, we're really good in transition, so that happens at points in time. But you obviously don't want to have that. We want to make sure that we're scoring in transition. But if you don't have it in transition, to me it's always score early. If you can't score early, now it becomes a grind.
16 points in the paint. Was that due to the number of fouls, too? Do you kind of take some of the free throws into the points in the paint?
I really think so. I think when you see where all the fouls occurred, especially on Gavin and some of those guys, Quez, they occurred in the paint. So they would have had an opportunity to score if they didn't get fouled.
Are you happy the way they ended like the last minute or so, in the sense that they kind of came back within the close? What were your kind of thoughts in the final minute or so?
Yeah, I thought we made some mistakes in situation basketball. We didn't want to trap those guys in our full-court press at that point in time at the end of the game, under 2 minutes. We just want to keep them in front of you. And so we didn't want to create offense with them, and miscommunication or just not listening. We did end up trapping some and creating offense for them. And then down the stretch there, we had some fouls at the rim, which you just can't foul there and stop the clock. You don't want them to score, but the least what you can't do is stop the clock and foul them and put them on the free throw line.
Would you say that's the toughest team that y'all opened up with so far, looking back?
Oh, no question about it. And you know, that's what we want, Paul. We got, if we're going to end up being a good basketball team, we got to put ourselves in pressure situations. So that's why we did this as far as like upping our non-conference schedule.
Here you guys.